Hey, hello, everybody, this is Purge. How are you guys doing today? I'm going to be doing a Q&A. I know I haven't done this before for YouTube, but I've done it on stream a couple times. Actually, very often when I end up streaming, I ask a lot of, or answer a lot of questions on chat. So if you guys watch me regularly there, which you can, I stream pretty much every day for 4 to 7 hours, something like that. Twitch.tv/GGNetPurge, or more importantly, you can go to my website, purgegamers.com, and then there should be a stream link, or it's purgegamers.com/stream. That's the easiest way to watch me. That supports me the best. So, what I basically decided to do was I'm trying to get people to join the forums a little bit so I can build some of a community there. If you guys want to join that, it's at the same website URL, purgegamers.com/forum. I made a thread. I posted this on Facebook or Twitter saying that if you have questions for me, throw them in the thread. If you guys have missed that, too bad. You're gonna have to wait till the next video. And I'll try to do these regularly, maybe once a month, something like that, just a random video to throw in. So I'm gonna go through the list really quickly here. I haven't read all the questions yet, so I'm gonna kind of wing this, but yeah, I'll probably put the link to this thread in the drop-down box, so if you guys want to leave questions, you can do that. So, I am going to scroll through these. I will not answer the troll questions. This question was pretty good. Your voice is similar to mine in that it is relatively monotone in comparison to the likes of LD, Toby, or AC. However, you are still interesting to listen to, whereas I am not. My biggest critique I get on the casting is that I am not conveying enough energy through my voice in my cast. Do you have to do any work on your voice, or did it just come naturally? Is there any advice you can provide me on speaking with energy? To be honest, I did adjust my speech patterns from casting. If I was hanging out with you and just talking to you, I would be like this. Oh, so if I was hanging out with you guys, I would just be talking like this. I just say stuff like that. Like, I'm kind of lazy about my speech patterns usually, but I just kind of got used to being more vocal and giving more voice inflection. Speaking of which, am I on Skype? Okay, Skype. Do not disturb, because I knew it was going to ping. I just knew it. It's going to ping. Yeah, I guess I just adjusted. I basically just adjusted. I got used to using voice inflection, talking about stuff like that. And I'm still generally monotone, but I think I've made a lot of ground. So, I don't know, just practice using voice inflection. Think about, I don't know, I just think about it sometimes. I'm just talking and I just naturally voice inflect now, where, I don't know, where it's something I never put brain power to before. So it's just a slight adjustment. That is all. Back in the days of when you were a newbie at Dota, was there anyone in particular that you learned or were taught a lot from, or was it more of a trial by fire as I progressed? It was definitely a trial by fire. I essentially learned I taught myself how to play the game in a lot of ways. That's not exactly accurate to say. There's obviously influences that I've gotten. But I essentially hopped into pub games, and I played a pub, and I played a pub, and I played a pub, and I played another pub. I played a lot of solo queue, and I didn't play with my friends very often in battle. It was kind of hard to do anyways. But when I was playing Dota a lot, I didn't really have a lot of friends that played it with me. So I was basically just playing a lot of pubs, pretty much. Other than that, I eventually went to the forums, the playdota.com forums, and I started reading mechanics and guides, and that's where I got a lot of my background information. Not all of it's accurate, of course, because you can't always remember all of the little mechanics things, but that's where I learned most of everything. This is kind of why I started my channel as well, because I knew that watching people play a game is much more effective than reading about it. Like, you can see how people do combos. Like, that's how I learned heroes when I was playing the game. I would watch other people do combos, and I was like, oh, so that's how you play the hero. Like, oh, Witch Doctor. You stun, you maledict, and you put your ulti down. That makes sense now, I get it. And once you watch somebody else do that, it's a little bit easier to learn that stuff. So, in some ways, yes, I was taught by the general Dota public, but at the same time, no. I didn't really have, like, a mentor or some friend of mine that was better than me. I eventually, at some points, yes, I've played with a lot of people that were better than me, of course, regularly, but it wasn't like I hopped into it and somebody who knew all the answers could just tell me stuff. It wasn't like that. You asked a lot of more questions there, but it's kind of a bunch of paragraphs and stuff, so yeah, I don't know. I learn new stuff about Dota every month, honestly. The amount of knowledge that I have compared to last year is already significantly improved, so what advice would you give a new player having difficulty coping with abuse from other players? You have a friend you queue with often who's very new to the game, and I can tell he gets incredibly depressed when people start calling him out on bad plays or for feeding, which really makes him play worse. Personally, can't handle it. Yeah. Is there anything you can do besides normal practicing and trying to get better to stop from getting so down when he starts doing very poorly? Honestly, there aren't a lot of good easy solutions for this, unfortunately. If people are being dickheads, if they're legitimately flaming you, just mute them. That gives you at least some... basically, if they write anything negative, just mute them. If they write anything Negative, that's them being a dick. Like, you could say, like, yeah, you messed up that initiation, or you could be like, you fucking sucked. Your initiation is fucking terrible. That is negative. Drop that guy. Mute him. Mute him right away. Report him. Do whatever. Just mute him. Like, I do that every pub game now, and it makes every game that I play much better, honestly. Whenever somebody talks shit to me or something like that, just mute him. It's not worth dealing with those douchebags. So, in terms of the fact that he's feeding and messing up every game, I think part of the problem with Dota at times is when you play with your friends, you get match made against a average skill between the two of you. So if I play with Twisco, for example, we're going to probably get match made in a game where the average skill is between him and I, which means that he on average is going to be worse than everybody else, so he's more likely to play worse or to do badly, and I'm on average better than everybody else in the game, on average. And that means that I should automatically do better than him, and he should probably do worse based on statistics. So it's kind of hard dealing with that, but probably the best thing that I can recommend is that you try to just only play with people at your skill level. It's very shitty to say that, because sometimes I want to play with people who suck at the game, but if I play with them and they're trying to solo lane and they have no idea what they're doing, they're going to feed and it's going to happen. Like, it just consistently happens. There's not really a good way to play with people like that, unless you stomp other people. It's like it's the only good way to make them not feel shitty. So until a private or a non-ranked system comes out, I think it's going to be really tough to play with people like that. So unfortunately, it's just the way it goes. I guess I don't really have a good way to explain it. I don't know, like, give him positive reinforcement when he does good stuff. You can always do things like that. I do that myself. If somebody does a good job or they have a good team fight, even though I know that they've been messing up a lot, I say, good job, you did a good black hole there or something. You can always do things to help people. Make sure you praise them for the good things you do. Try not to be too mean. You can stick up for them. There's options. It's just, there's not really a good answer to it, unfortunately, because people do suck. Like, it happens. And you just gotta accept it and learn and get better. So, looks like somebody was responding to the question I just responded to. I always pick support because my team, I just started with a, you know what, I'm not gonna answer this many Dota questions. I don't wanna ask this many Dota, or answer this many Dota questions. I'm gonna go on more personal stuff because that was kind of what I was implying. Personal questions. Do you live alone? Nope, I have 2 roommates. One of my roommates I've known since kindergarten. The first time I ever played a video game was, I don't know if that's accurate, but one of the first times I ever played a video game was at his house. He had a Super Nintendo, or a regular Nintendo, excuse me. We were probably in kindergarten, first grade, somewhere around there, which was probably, that was probably like the middle of the 90s, somewhere in there, the 1990s. And we played what was that? Oh my god, the game where you have a bunch of face-down cards and you it's like matching games. You flip the cards over and you try to find out what they are, and then you flip them over if you don't get a match. I don't remember what that's called. I feel bad, but we played that game in Duck Hunt, and he had Super Mario Bros as well, but we didn't play it that much. So I would go over there, and I've known Ryan, that's Chronos01, if you guys have seen him in stream chat before. I've known him since kindergarten, been friends for a very long time. He lived up the street from me, from my parents. The other roommate is somebody that he works with at a restaurant. So that is my 2 roommates. How much time have you spent playing Dota 2? If I look at Steam right now, click library, Dota 2, 1,959 hours played in Dota 2. Now, keep in mind that's not hours played, that is time logged into Dota 2, so sometimes I'll leave, like right now, if you can see the background. I actually have Dota 2 up right now, so right now this is ticking time of hours played. But keep in mind that a lot of this time is spent working and stuff like that. It's not like, I mean, I've only played how many games? I've got 412 wins and I have about 350 losses or something like that. If I click through my profile. Yeah, 341 losses, 412 wins. So I haven't played that many games, relatively, considering how much time I've been logged in, but every time I'm logged in to cast a game, that's all time that's taken through, and as well as lobbies before the game starts, stuff like that, it all adds up. In terms of Dota 1, I guesstimated that I probably played like 3,000 to 5,000, maybe probably 3,000 to 5,000 games of Dota 1, which is a lot. I could go back to the Dota Cache website and count all of my games, and that was everything that was tracked for the last like year and a half only. So I've played thousands and thousands and thousands of games of Dota. It takes a long time to get good at this game. And I'm not going to answer your 3rd question because I actually already read it. I'm sorry. If I thought about making a team, not professional or professional, once the team feature is made public. I would love to do something like that. I have some people on my friends list that I really like playing with who are as skilled as I am, if not better, and definitely are better on average. But the problem is matching up schedules and them being okay with that and not necessarily having other people they'd rather be on a team with, just weird stuff like that. But I would love to play amateur tournaments at some point. I really wish I played CM mode more often, but the problem is that you don't always have 5 of the good people on. It's always like you've got a couple noobs here and there, and that really messes things up. So it's pretty tough to play scrims. Unless I played in an in-house league, which is more of like a you get ranked or you get vouched to play in it, and then you go and play in it. I should probably play more of those more often, to be honest. But I don't even have time to play during the regular week usually, or I spend 6 hours casting, and I don't always feel like playing pub games for a couple hours afterwards, because then I'd be spending like, I don't know, 12 hours a day playing Dota instead of just like, or 12 hours a day on Dota. Sometimes it gets a little burned out for about a day or so. What are my thoughts of the future of esports? Also, what do you think about Blizzard All-Stars? Blizzard All-Stars is going to be great for StarCraft 2 custom players. Other than that, I don't think it's going to work in terms of competitive scene. I think League of Legends and Dota fills a lot of holes that that game would not bother even touching. Smite, I haven't played it. People talk about it. That's all I know. Thoughts about the future of esports? I think things are going to expand. I think in maybe 20 or 30 years, it's going to be a pretty decent, maybe not a staple, but something that people know about. I can't really comment more than that, but right now I feel like the market is, the viewer base is huge, but the content producer base is pretty small. It's kind of what it seems like. There aren't that many people making money. There aren't that many casters in each game. I only have good information about StarCraft 2 and the Dota scene, by the way. I don't know much about fighting games or Counter-Strike or all that other stuff, so. Will there be land mode for Dota 2? Yes, this has been announced. Top shittiest heroes for pro games. For example, heroes that you never expect to be picked in a pro game. There's lots like that. Huskar. Well, Huskar occasionally sees play. Let me look at the Learn tab quick. I'm just briefly... Bloodseeker probably is pretty argued. There's heroes that do get picked occasionally, for the record. That isn't really the case anymore. That there are heroes that just simply never get played. But there are a couple. Bloodseeker's probably a really good example. Could say Zeus is rarely picked. There's lists. People make lists of this stuff all the time about heroes that never get played. Spearbreaker is probably the best example of a hero that's never going to get picked in the pro scene, I think. I don't know how to answer that question. What's the best way to teach someone how important farming is? It's kind of hard. They don't really understand lane dynamics enough. Farming is most important. I think the easiest way to explain it is when you're talking about lane dynamics, about when and why it's so important to make sure that you put the farm on one person. Like getting that ring of health 1 minute earlier or something like that just makes your lane so much easier. And usually you start understanding that when you play enough, when you play a game where your ring of health is delayed, and you play a game where your ring of health is right on time, you know. You can tell, you can reference those 2 games and say, wow, I did so much better that one game, or if I had a ring of health I could tank the damage and continue to get last hits, stuff like that. Address tread switching. I might make a video about it. Luminous has gone over stuff like that in one of his videos before, but I could maybe make a video about it. I would do it now, but it requires math, and if you don't see the math, then most people don't care. How to be a drafter for newbies. Don't play captain's mode with new players, or anybody below the 80% skill mark. It's just not worth it. Because usually people can't execute their roles properly. I can't give you any tips about League of Legends switching to Dota because I've never played League of Legends. But there is a video. If you go to the Dota 2 subreddit, it's reddit.com/r/Dota2. There's a link on the right that says it's like your guide from switching from League of Legends to Dota 2. There's a guide. I haven't read it myself, but you can go look at it. I'm from the UK, and there's unfortunately not a big Dota following here. However, League of Legends has a significant following, and there are even some pro-British teams on the scene in the league. Why do you think such a disparity exists here? Right now, League of Legends is more popular. It's that simple. I haven't heard of that many British Dota players, at least in the pro scene. I know that there's lots of casual British Dota players. There's many people. Cyborg Matt is from the UK. There's a couple admins. Blue Knight, I believe, is from the UK. He's currently a joined Dota admin. He used to be a Gosu Gamers. I'm probably forgetting some other people, but there are a decent amount of British or people from the UK who do play Dota 2. I don't know why there aren't any players or teams, or at least any teams that I'm aware of. I'm sure there's a couple players that I don't know about, but just, I don't know. It all has to do with friend groups. And the UK is decently sized, but it's not massive. We can look at Europe or, I don't know. Who knows? Could be a lot of factors. I don't know. I am not sure. League of Legends is more popular right now. That's about it. You're watching Triumphant Gods in the cast, and they mentioned the possibility of a caster 5v5 match casted by some of the pro co-casters that we see sometimes. Would I be up for this? It'd be kind of weird, first of all. Not all the casters are skilled at the game. In terms of... I mean, obviously some of the co-casters who are actually pro co-casters, they're probably the best players at the game, like Cinderin, Bulba, or Wagamama. Players like that. Those are obviously the best casters who actually play. From the rest of it, it would pretty much just be a pub match. Like, expecting us to do like a CM mode game would be kind of silly, so I don't know if it'd be worth it that much. What advice would you suggest for players who are stuck in a rut on expanding to new heroes? If you can play Lina, for example, really well, but when you attempt to play Night Stalker or Chaos Knight, you fail, and fail horribly. You can just... you'll get better at switching heroes with time as you try out new heroes. I mean, I can basically go 8 to 9 months without playing Slithis, which I did recently, and I played one game with her, and I played pretty well. Because I play a lot of different heroes. I don't play the same heroes repeatedly. A lot of players are like this. They'll say, I like picking Pudge every third game or something like that. I never do that. I random a lot. Because I just don't feel like picking, I guess. And that hurts me. Sometimes I lose games because the Iron lanes suck or something like that. Or maybe I get a shitty hero like a Spirit Breaker. But it's not the end of the world. I would say your best bet is to, if you really want to try a new hero, read guides, watch me play him so you get a general idea of how to play him, and then give it a shot. That's it. I mean, you just got to do it. Like, you're not going to learn the heroes if you don't practice them. You've got to get used to their abilities. You've got to get used to their strengths. You've got to get used to their weaknesses. And that all is going to take time. It's not super easy to do. That's pretty much all I can say. You got to do it. You can't just not try. You got to play it. Just watch other people play Night Stalker who are good at the game. Make sure that your skill builds and your item builds are fleshed out. And from there, it just takes practice. Yes. That's it. Mac, I don't know. They're working on it someday, but I think they're more concerned with putting heroes out right now than getting the Mac. Throughout your career in esports, how supportive were your parents of you? My parents were supportive of me as soon as I told them how awesome it was going to be and what it was going to be like. When I first got the idea, I know I've talked about this on live stream a couple times and in interviews and stuff like that, but for those of you guys who haven't read those interviews or you haven't, just interviews or read the Q&As or other places that I put things up, basically, what I thought of it when I was working a shitty job. It was a decent job, but my boss sucked, and he was very controlling, and he was prejudiced against video games. So it was kind of not a very good learning environment. He didn't want me to talk about video games and stuff because he thought it made me look bad. He was just prejudiced extremely. So I was sitting there one day, bored out of my mind, because he wasn't very good at giving us tasks, or sometimes there just wouldn't be that much to do. And I thought, oh my god, I should do for Dota 2 what Husky did for StarCraft 2. Which was make a YouTube channel, become a caster, cast LAN tournaments, actually make a living, and enjoy it, which is what I'm doing now. Once I told my parents, they were very supportive. I basically told them exactly what was going to happen, and I knew what was going to happen. I was going to start a YouTube channel, I was going to make lots of videos, and eventually I would get famous or popular, because I knew kind of like what the equations were. I knew that you could make money, a lot of money, by casting or making YouTube channels. So I basically had it all planned out, and I told them, and then they were supportive the whole time, pretty much. If I would have told them that I wanted to drop out of college to do this, maybe they would have been different, but I already have a college degree. I had already had some work experience, and I don't know, I'm pretty independent as a person, so I'm sure that they realized that once I told them how it was all going to work out and that I was pretty sure the plan would work, then they supported me. And my grandparents are very supportive as well. But prior to this, my parents, you talk about video games, people who don't care about them, they're just like, oh, whatever, video games. But now I have to explain what Dota is, and I have to tell them what casting is, and I have to tell them what my gamer tag is, and all this weird stuff. It's like, Mom and Dad, I know you named me Kevin, but my real name's Purge. I'm sorry to tell you this. So stuff like that. It's totally weird going from being shunned, oh, so you play video games too often, to all of a sudden being like, oh, cool, this is your job now. It's a nice little switch. So if you can make it happen for yourself, your parents should probably do the same thing. If they don't, they're dicks. Jerks, whatever. Couple quick questions. Is there a Mrs. Purge? And no, I'm not married. That's what that means, right? Yeah, I think so. How did you get into Dota in general? I'm just being facetious. I'm just dodging the question. That's all. How did you get into Dota in general, and what kept you coming back for so long? I started playing Dota when I quit. I was playing City of Villains, which is an MMO. I played that for a very long time. I was subscribed for like 27 months. I was pretty serious about it. Played PvP and stuff like that. It was very fun. I have a lot of good memories from that game. So after I quit that game, they changed PvP because it was too noob friendly. Sound a lot like how I feel about Dota. Dota's awesome. It's very high skilled. It's not noob friendly, which any competitive game should not be super easy. So they changed it because there weren't enough people playing. And oh, one sec, somebody sent me a party invite. I gotta tell him. I told him 1 sec. Recording a video might be like 5 minutes. So I basically sold my account for $200 to some guy who wanted it, and it got banned like a month later, something weird like that. And then I remembered I'd played Dota a couple times in high school, so I came back to it, and I started playing it heavily. I was hosting games on Battle.net within like 6 months to 9 months, something like that, and enjoyed the shit out of it. I think Wolfman might want to play with us too. I should probably invite. Sorry, guys. Okay. If you still want to play, hit send. Okay. And I think I'm going to answer like 2 more questions. How's Dota 2 different than what you expected to be like so far? It's more awesome than I thought they were going to make it. I cannot say that with a completely straight face. Not even kidding. Valve has just simply done a better job than I thought they would. All the little features they've added, they've done pretty much everything that people have asked for. The ticket system is awesome. Dota TV is awesome. They're just doing a ridiculously good job. That's honestly the only thing that I expected about Dota 2 being different, pretty much, was that it was more cool. And the last question. I've only about gone to page 3 of this thread, so if your questions are on page 4, I may answer them later. Top 10 favorite hero. I have that answered on my FAQ page. It's purgegamers.com/FAQ. So I won't go over that right now. I haven't edited in about 9 months. What's your hotkey setup on your keyboard and mouse? You can see that in game. There's little icons that shows you. That's not a good question. Well, it's a no offense, but I'm not going to count that as one of my questions. This is what I mean. Currently in a do I play any other games? All right, this will be my last question. If so, which games are your favorite aside from Dota 2? What games do you like? I play StarCraft 2 customs a lot when I feel like relaxing, like Desert Strike and Nexus Wars and Squadron Tower Defense. If I just don't want to think, that's the game that I play, basically. I play with Wolfman usually, where I'm just like, I don't feel like playing Dota, you want to play custom? He's like, okay, and we go play that and dick around for a couple hours. I've been playing Portal 2 this week with this really cool Razor Hydra. Yeah, go look it up. Go Google Razor Hydra. They sent me a free one to test it out. They want me to play Dota with it. So I'm kind of like, I don't know if it's gonna work, but it's been really fun with Portal 2. So I've been playing that with Twisco a little bit, and one other person slightly. But I really don't play very many other video games. It's pretty much just focus. I used to play Halo a lot, but I haven't played Halo in a long time. I just essentially, I'm not a big video game switcher. I just hyper focus on one game because I don't really like having to learn new systems and stuff. When I played Mass Effect, that was the first new game that I tried in probably months. I usually don't play that many new games. So I think that's it. I have no more time. I have to go play some pub games. Hopefully record some cool stuff. Thanks for watching. I'll try to do these maybe once every 2 weeks, once every month, something like that. If you guys want to leave a question for me, go throw it in that thread. I appreciate it. Go post in the forums. Make sure you follow me on Facebook or Twitter if you want to see stuff like those announcements. That's the best way to get announcements. If you guys hate Facebook, make a Twitter. Honestly. I'm not just saying that because I want you to follow me, but I feel the same way about Facebook right now. I personally hate personal Facebook. I dislike it a lot. There's advertising and spam and all this crap. Twitter is very nice, in my opinion. If you guys literally just don't want to dick around with the invasive privacy stuff that Facebook has, go make a Twitter profile and go follow all the awesome, cool people on the internet that you like. And that's the only shit that you ever have to see. Period. There's no advertisements, period. I just follow famous YouTubers and esports personalities and stuff like that. And I check it when I'm bored. I don't even look at my Facebook newsfeed anymore, so that's my recommendation. Twitter's awesome. More awesome. I thought it was going to suck, but it doesn't. So, okay, and I think that's it. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you later. Bye. Closing the video, closing the video, closing the video.